And welcome back to the Rock Shop Podcast. Joining me today is a very special guest, and his name is.
Dominic Goodie,
Hey, what's up, Dominic?
doing all right. How are you?
Doing well, man. So, what brings you on, man? What do you do?
I am a veteran filmmaker. I write, direct, and I shoot my own stuff. I say veteran in the sense of prior military.
Thank you for your service.
Appreciate it. So yeah, I pretty much write, shoot, direct action films, some horror films, but mostly action genre.
Nice. It's
Yeah.
really sick. Do you have a favorite action movie?
Kind of the movies that got me into it, a lot of the cheesy 80s, 90s movies, but if I was to pick, it'd be Lethal Weapon as a whole, because to me it kind of just solidifies the perfect comedy, action, buddy cop drama. So it works in all levels for me, and that's why I kind of love. I like to emulate stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, those are solid old ones, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what kind of like action movies are we talking about? And horror movies? Like, are they online? Can the audience see them?
Yeah, I got one of my features right now is on Amazon Prime. It was on Tubi as well, but it's called Witnessed. It's more of the dramatic side, starting out because when you do everything yourself, it's hard to get that rigging for like stunts and stuff and explosions and things like that. So you kind of have to work your way into certain things. So it's what I'm I guess trying to do is just step by step more and more push the boundaries of what I can do on the guerrilla independent side, while still financing it personally through my own work and things like that. But yeah, right now my feature is it's like 84 minutes on Amazon Prime called Witnessed.
Nice. Prime Video, I assume, or
Yes.
Bill for Rent. Okay, that's cool, man. It's cool. Definitely have to check that out. I'm a big fan of pretty much every genre. I'll watch anything really.
Yeah, I'm working on like I said, going to that next step with the action stuff. I'm working with a bunch of stunt people because I'm here in Georgia, and I was lucky enough to work on a number of Marvel projects and other bigger projects, and I was able to collaborate with some of the stunt people and get their numbers and talk to them. And a lot of those guys are trying to make their way into acting a little bit more because with stunts, you're just like the fall guy, or you go through a window, you go through this. You don't really get a chance to actually get the dialogue or showcase yourself as an actor. So talking with these guys, I came up with a script, another feature film that I'm working on that can kind of utilize all their stunt attributes, but also give them some speaking lines so they can start working on their actual acting.
It's so well deserved that they're finally doing a best stunt category for the Oscars. And what's that
Oh,
next year?
definitely, yes, yes. It's so well deserved because like Jackie would have been had one. They gave him an honorary Oscar, but Jackie definitely would have got an Oscar years ago. We had a stunt category.
Ron, Tom Cruise can do it all, man. I've seen
Oh,
Magnolia, dude. I've seen. I'm trying to think like what else he's been that's like a dramatic role. But I thought he was should have been nominated for Best Actor for Maverick. I thought that was so good.
yeah, that was really good. Yeah. Um, I Tom is one of those special people that kind of like the passion of old school cinema is still inside of him. So when he makes films or in movies, he makes them geared towards you sitting in the theater to watch them because he understands the streaming and everything like that. But he's like, it's on IMAX, it's with the surround sounds, with the chair shaking in 40x, and all these elements that you can't get at home. So Tom is really passionate about getting people in the seats, which is amazing for filmmakers because one of your biggest like goals as a filmmaker is to see your project on the big screen.
Do you take much inspiration from like Buster Keaton or a lot of those silent film guys? Because you watch some of those movies and it's crazy, like the stunts they do, like The General or just, any of them.
I so I went to film school, and I was always a film like person, a film buff, and I really learned about Buster Keaton and even Charlie Chaplin and his stuff and the Three Stooges and all their slapstick comedy that honestly was actually some of them getting hit for real. But my inspiration comes from like Robert Rodriguez, Zack Snyder, Kevin Smith. just the it's weird to say because it's like I love the action, I love the drama, but I also like just using my friends or using people that I'm comfortable with that I know in these projects because I can talk to them as on a personal level where when you get hired actors sometimes you really can't talk to them as personal until you get a chance to really work with them, you know? Your first instance with an actor may be strictly business until you develop a relationship where you can talk to somebody kind of more casual, you know? That's why I like Kevin Smith and Zack Snyder and all those guys because they also built their career from their independent side. Like none of these guys had really that big Hollywood push until they established themselves.
Yeah, man, I love like 90s indie filmmaking too. Um, it's a lost art, man. Everything is so like I feel focus tested, you know.
Yeah.
Everything is so like committee driven that it's there's a fun in scrappiness. There's a fun in just guerrilla filmmaking, even though
Yeah.
like, if you want in this business, I mean, I feel like you got to have your permits and you got to like
Oh yeah, of
dot your
course.
T or dot your I's and cross your T's, right?
A lot of it I would say is safety net, you know. So I've worked on Thunderbolts. I've worked on Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision. I worked on a lot of Marvel things and She Hulk and things like that as a grip. So as part of a crew, and just overhearing a lot of the things and changes, it's like a lot of it is safety. Like they go with things they know are going to work versus taking a shot or a chance on something that they haven't done before. And a lot of studios, the big studios, are the ones that are still holding on to that safety net, while there's smaller studios or studios like A24 that are taking those big risks and going like, okay, well, this is a weird concept for a film. Let's do like a $5-10 million budget and see what happens. And these movies that have those budgets that are really risk taking are paying off for them. So they're more open now to taking more risks, you know?
Well, the interesting thing about you and what you said and brought up, you're bringing up like Kevin Smith and a lot of these older guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, when you're going indie, it's so easy to just make a comedy or drama or romance. You're not taking the easy road, man. You're doing action.
Yeah.
And that's difficult, man. Well, if your actors get hurt, like uh what's the process with that? Like how do you ensure safety? How do you like has anyone ever like seen you film and they think it's like a real fight and then they get like freaked out or something?
I've had because with the whole use of blank guns and stuff like that, I've migrated to cap guns, Japanese cap guns that give off muzzle flare and smoke, but don't have any type of projectile. So we used them on my last short film concept I just did called Across the Blue Line. And if you weren't in the scene or in the area and you walked up on somebody firing one of these, you would assume it was a gun. And we've had people go like, "Oh my god, I didn't know that was so real." It was like, but you can hold. It's like I said, you remember those little cap guns you have on
Yeah,
your finger? It's those same ones. It's just they have caps,
sure.
bigger caps. So it's so much easier. And I also use airsoft guns, so it's so much easier. And another the one of the ways I try to keep it safe on my set is to show the people around me, look, this is what it is. I'll take it out, unscrew the shell because you have to load the cap into it, unscrew it, show everybody, let them know that hey, safe distance, this is what we're gonna do. And you'll count down 1, 2, 3, action, and then go off. With stunts, same thing. It just repetition, choreography, making sure that we're going like 25% speed. Okay, that did well. Let's go 50% speed. Okay. Now we're getting closer to 75% speed, and then we're now picture speed. Just making sure everyone knows the steps and taking the precautions. Like if a stunt person or an actor falls, they get hurt. Like, hey, you okay? Let's go. Check out if you got a cut, bruise, or nothing. If you're good, and always consult. I always consult with my actors or anybody who's doing stuff, their comfortability. I'm never gonna be like, oh, I need you to do this because that's part of the scene. If they're not comfortable doing it, then it's like, all right, well, now we're in rewrites. Let's figure out what we can do to still keep that momentum, but do it in a safer for you. And I rarely have that. I really have a lot of actors or people come up to me and say, I don't really feel safe with this scene because I kind of make on the indie side, you can't go so big. So a lot of the stuff is like I said, paint like pane glass windows that are like breakable or breakable bottles or getting flipped onto a table, and the table's already been like manufactured to break, and having a lot of stunt mats. So I haven't really done anything too crazy yet. Where someone's like, I don't know, this might be a little bit too much. So no one's hanging out of a car yet.
Have you ever seen that movie? It's called American Movie. It's from like the year 2000. Have you ever
Mm-mm.
heard of this? Um, I think you can rent it. Maybe it's on Tubi, but I know it's like the full thing is on YouTube and
Is that
kind
a
of crappy
spoof?
quality. No, although I never really thought of it as like, yeah, that does sound like a spoof, like scary movie,
Scary movie, yeah, yeah.
disaster. What were those others? Disaster
Disaster
movie was one.
movie. They had Meet the Spartans.
There's a date movie,
Epic
one of them.
movie. Yeah, date movie, epic movie. Yeah. So you said American movie. I feel like it's a spoof.
Yeah, it was around the same time, but it's an amazing documentary.
Oh, okay.
It's about this guy who like, at first you think he's like 20 or something, and he wants to make a movie, and he
Mhm.
lives at like a trailer park in Michigan, but he's in his like mid 30s. Um, it's just him and his best friend, and they get enough money that they're trying to make like a horror film, like a
Okay.
feature, and like this poor guy, like you just gotta feel bad for him because he's not very bright,
Hmm.
and they're like stunts, but he's just really dumb about it. Like, um, there's an incredible scene where like his character like throws a guy into a cabinet and the doors break,
Okay.
cabinet doors. So they score it and they like beat this guy's head against the cabinet, like kind of like pushing him into it.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh wait, man, this is hardwood. Like we didn't score it enough." And they
Oh,
keep
jeez.
they keep scoring it a little more. And then this guy is just like his head's all like beat up by the end. Like take seven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's just like no they it's a documentary of them trying to make this like movie and just like everything that was like going wrong with
Going
it.
wrong. That's funny.
And
Was it a horror movie they were trying to do or an action film?
well, it was a horror movie, but there was like action in it, you know.
Got you. Okay.
Like Jason like stalks people and he like
Yeah.
kills them, same thing.
Okay.
Um I don't know if I think they ended up making a short. And they're
I was
like,
gonna
well, the
say.
movie for the film will come, but let's turn this into short. But
I was gonna say because I think doing a feature is a big ask. But most of the times, if you think about it, like each scene is a short film. It's like obviously you don't have an ending, but you technically have an ending in the beginning of each scene, but they just piece together into a larger format. So I know I was talking to some people and I was just thinking in my head, it's like, man, you gotta shoot 90 minutes or you gotta 60 minutes, and it just seems so difficult. But it's like think of it as small shorts and don't go into it thinking it's a whole 90-minute or a whole 80, 60-minute thing. Just think of it as small shorts. Each scene is a small short. Get through that scene and then shoot the next scene. And then shoot the next scene, and the next scene. And eventually you'll have the whole thing pieced together, you know?
yeah, I mean that's a really good perspective because I made home movies, but I made a feature, but I never like did the short films, and then you graduate to the big feature film.
Yeah.
That was a lot, and I didn't go to film school. I'm curious, where did you go to?
I went to Full Sail in Florida.
Oh, very nice. I went to Florida State.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to subscribe to like Nintendo Power and like Game Informer back in
Yeah.
the day, and
Yeah.
they used to have Full Sail ads. And I lived in Orlando for a stint, and
Okay.
when I was a kid, I used to get those ads like, oh, you could be like a game dev or whatever.
Game design, yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. When I went, they had well, I guess what they said back in the day, it started out as a recording arts school. Then they adopted graphic design, game design, film, and a few other things, but I don't know what they're doing now. I know because I graduated 2018 with my master's degree,
wow.
but they've changed so much. I think because the industry is changing so much that they're trying to stay with the times. I think the last thing I heard them doing was getting a video wall like the Mandalorian.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What's that called? The
It's, it's like an immersive screen. I can't remember what the
it's
actual
got a name that's like called the Wall or something, or no,
yeah.
the it's like the Echo or the
I can't remember the actual like name of it. But it was like all right, I feel I'm very old school. I like going on locations. I like going to places. So like even blue screen and green screen stuff that we use like all the time on these Marvel shows, it's like they're great. But it's something about being on location and feeling it gives it adds to the actors, you know,
it's called the Volume, I think.
the volume. Oh, interesting.
I think it. Well, now you're like doubting it, or you're like, really? So now I don't know. I think
I
so.
don't.
It has like a name you wouldn't imagine, though. It's like I don't know. It doesn't matter, even though it's gonna bug me.
Oh, okay. Well, after you're done, we can look it up or look it up.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was the last thing I heard they did because it was during COVID, and that was one of the big things that the Mandalorian was able to do was film with that huge wall of for visual effects. They would just create locations. So and I thought that was cool, but I didn't want them to take away from the essence of filmmaking by putting you knowing. No, obviously it's the older you get, the more things change. Eventually, it may be all digital, but even then, it's still like you still have to know the essence of filmmaking in the sense of like going on location, getting bit by mosquitoes in the woods while you're trying to set up some lights or have a bounce board or a bounce card, things like that, and just understanding cinematography because digital cinematography is very difficult with the 3D rendering and all those stuff. So I can imagine trying to do that and you don't know the aspects of cinematography in just natural filmmaking.
yeah. It's just unnatural. I feel like you can really tell, and that's just like part of it is just VFX workers are so overworked, in
Burnt
a lot of
out.
these. Like, back in the day, you could kind of take your time and there was more of a budget, I
Oh,
guess. But
yeah.
now they're doing multiple projects um, at once, and I can imagine that burnout's just crazy. That crunch, see a lot
Well,
in the game industry.
I have one of my friends that works for a VFX company, and I think they finished up on Superman, the new one, James Gunn's version, and the turnaround time it's not like it used to be because back in the day, I think in Hollywood they used to shoot a film and that wouldn't come out for like maybe 2 years or a year and some change or 3 years maybe, depending on what the post production is. Now we're shooting a film, say in April, and it'll be out by February next year. You're like, oh
Yeah.
wow, turnaround time is very quick because they want to get their check back. They want to get their money back from their investment. They don't want to hold on to these projects that long, which is understandable. But your baking time isn't enough. Sometimes these VFX are not up to par. If you had left gave them a whole year. Same thing with the game industry. You can see that now. They're just putting out patches. Like a game will drop and they'll just patch it if consumers find errors or problems or glitches. They're like, okay, that's the problem. Write that down. Okay, we'll fix it in the next patch. Versus letting it actually bake for the time it needs to bake and then putting out a finished product.
There's a teaser trailer that came out recently. It showed all like, the main cast, supporting cast, whatever. And there's a ton of bloom. It's really
Mm,
it's not really saturated, but it's so like lit. Like the lighting is so strange and the backgrounds are super blurry.
mm.
So
Is it for a movie or?
for a movie, yeah, a live action movie, and there's kind of like almost a higher frame rate, or that I only saw like once or twice, but a lot of Twitter users were saying like,
It's unfinished.
oh, well, no, they're saying like this looks like AI, even though it's not,
Mm,
because the camera is moving strangely. I don't think it was AI, but then people started conspiring like, well, what if that was on purpose to condition us to accept
AI or
like
things,
AI
yeah,
in
things that are
marketing, and then
off.
they'll
Yeah.
and then well, just like that style, like I
Mm,
think AI has a really like a really gross style, but a really like unique style. Like when you see it, you're like,
It feels
That's kind of AI-ish, you know?
like watching AI videos, it feels sharp in the sense of movement. Like if a character takes a left turn, they take a left, like a hard left, versus somebody walking might take a gradual, arcing left. They might take a slow turn. They might turn their shoulder a little bit. But AI, it feels like they just scoop, it's like almost robotic in a sense. And then I guess the uncanny valley of AI still. Like you'll see a person's face and be like, that doesn't look real, but I know it's supposed to emulate something real.
Well, I think one of the what's it, the Dolly or something.
Mm,
I think Dolly 3, you used to just be able to generate anything. Like
hmm
someone's like, generate me a painting of a cookie, and it looked exactly like Picasso. But if you did the same prompt in like Dolly 4, then it was that weird, like hyper detailed AI,
Yeah.
weirdly lit shit that we see a lot. Um, I had a point, like an additional point to that, but I don't know. I'm glad like it has such a distinct style that at least we can point it out. Now it does
True.
suck if that is your style, because I have seen some artists be like, I
Yeah.
swear I'm not AI.
Yeah. Like they're just trying to think outside the box and try to distance themselves and make themselves a certain style. But it's like that style looks like that. And it's like, but I do it by hand or I do it in my own computer. I painstakingly draw this in computer animation versus somebody who just puts in a prompt, and then other people aren't, like you said, people don't believe that it's you. People are like, oh, you just use AI. It's like, no, I didn't.
The first time I got bamboozled by AI was I saw a picture of Pope Francis in a puffy jacket, and I thought it was real. I was like,
Uh,
"Whoa,
I was
cool!"
every time I see it on something like that, I'm like, that's not real. I
I
can't in my mind, I can't like imagine they would let that picture get out. That's what I think. I'm like, they wouldn't let that get out.
was like, Pope Francis got that shit on, and then it was like fake, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Ah, dude, I feel like a dumbass now."
That's one of the things I think in the film industry that people are really, at least in our on I'm saying our side, um, from crew and people above the line, they feel like it's a job taker. So there's a risk with how much AI is becoming, stronger and powerful, more better. But because studios want to save money by cutting people. That's how it wants to go. People they want to cut so they can reduce manpower, reduce the amount of money that they put out. So they're looking into these AI aspects, even small things like crowd scenes for concert movies. They're like, why can't we just generate crowds? Why can't we just generate people in the crowd? It's like, because that's somebody's job. That's a background extra that doesn't get paid that day or doesn't get anything, when you can just get a handful of extras, and then yes, it's going to take a minute, but shoot them in different parts of that arena and then multiply it and multiply and multiply. Yes, you can AI a bunch of crowd, but then it's like, are they going to move the right way? What if you're not looking and somebody in the high bleachers ends up tumbling down because the AI started acting weird, and now you have a movie where it's like somebody's going to point out something like that doesn't look right,
And
you
then
know?
it's like it's so insidious, because art is a passion. So many
Oh
people,
yes, oh,
music is a
definitely.
passion, It's like, you're depriving people of that.
It's expression.
Yeah, yeah, you're like, what if the studio said like one day, like, well, we don't value your passion anymore, your craft, and we
Mhm.
used to. I mean, what message does that send? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, so I feel like some people, like I said, I'll go back to like A24. I feel like the people over there in Blumhouse and people over there that are taking risks are the people that appreciate the passion and the imagination that a lot of these creators and filmmakers have. But if you look at some of the big wigs from who's been in there for generations, been in these high positions, they're looking at it like numbers. Okay, it's like, all right, we have 10 movies that we have the slot for this quarter or whatever, and we want to get these knocked out, but we have filmmakers that are they're stressing over the script. The script's not done, this and that. When we can just AI generate a script, have somebody go over it, and then fix it and make it work for what we want. That'll streamline everything. Like you could do that, but you're not gonna have any character. You're not gonna have any press. What writer is gonna be doing the press tour? What director is gonna do the press tour? When it's like, hey, who came up with the idea for the film? Uh, what do I say? Like
Yeah.
you gotta look at more than just the creation of the project. You gotta look at how you're promoting the project. You know, if the audience is just gonna get the end result of it and not see the behind the scenes, because that might inspire future filmmakers or future people that want to get involved in this thing. But if you take away all that behind the scene aspect of people actually working on making these projects, you're kind of just turning it into a rinse and repeat machine, you know? And Hollywood has been like that for a while, but you have these smaller companies, like I said, that are coming up and they're giving the voice to these weird and quirky directors and filmmakers to be like, hey, that's a weird idea. Let's see if we can make it work. And then if it works, like Get Out with Jordan Peele, $5 million production, boasted hundreds of millions, and it was a unique idea in Blumhouse.
I predict 10 years from now, the 30s are going to be the 90s on steroids in terms of the independent wave.
Oh,
Because I think like these budgets are just going to be untenable. Like
it.
like it's insane to me. You look at like any of these Netflix originals, like a
Mm,
$300 million movie, and the gross is like, or the revenue, whatever, ends up being like $60,000 because yeah, maybe they put in a few theaters overseas. But that is wild, and like it's burning money, and it's crazy because it's not even like you're not giving the money to Da Vinci or Picasso,
no.
like these aren't, I don't even like watch them because they don't look appealing. But I think just because of that, like budgets are just going to go so crazy that,
I think it's. I think it might be reversed, man. I think studios are holding on to a lot more money. I think,
well,
and it's in a sense of what we saw what happened with the strike and the actors and the writers kind of wanting more residuals and wanting more on the back end, that studios aren't giving you as much as you thought. Like the Marvels and all those big productions, they're gonna have an endless supply of money. If they need to reshoot something, they're gonna reshoot something. But if you're coming up and you're like, hey, I got a project, I need 25 million, they're gonna be like, look, you got maybe you got 13. We're gonna give you 13. You got to make it do what you can do with it. Because they're not trying to give you a lot.
it's like the gatekeeping of that. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're the budgets are just going to keep going up, or even if they don't, like I think AI in film is going to go crazy like in 10 years. But there's going to be a movement by independent artists like you and I, and there'll be millions of Kevin Smiths out there. There'll be like, so many movies or Clerks or Sex Lies and Videotapes or um, Slacker
Yeah,
or something like that, um, just being released. And maybe smaller budget because like the average person doesn't have millions, but
exactly.
um, I just think like there'll be a handful of studios, but just so many more people just making things and then having that like community, hey, we didn't use any AI, look at us and you can tell.
Yeah, I feel like with the productions or the people who are coming up in that mindset, we need them to get to the studio level, because maybe well hopefully they'll keep that same mentality and say like we're gonna give a lot more chances to the smaller fish. You
Yeah.
know, maybe every so often we'll have this big blockbuster film under our umbrella, but it's like let's work on these smaller films, because if they only need a $1.5 million budget, we have the money. We can give them a 1.5, and maybe we recoup 20 or 15. that's still a come. That's still a come up. You know,
And that's
that's
a
still a
thing.
profit.
And that's a thing. I mean, a $300 million movie, or you could have 300 Reservoir Dogs, you know?
Exactly, exactly. And at the end of the day, that 300 million, you got to get two times that to really see a profit or to really see that it did well versus okay, you put out 20 films that all had 2 to 5 million dollar budgets, between 2 and 5 million, and they all do 15 to 25. You just tripled all that compared to that 300 that you're waiting on,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
it's a talent too. One of the most insane Hollywood stories of the past 20 years was Colin Trevorrow, if you're familiar.
Sounds familiar. I don't know if I've read anything on him though.
He did a Safety Not Guaranteed, and
Oh, okay, that's
yeah,
right.
that's such a good. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have.
Such a good movie, and that
Yeah.
was, I think that was 500,000, or maybe
Oh,
775, or something like that.
oh, right, just under a million. Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't like a crazy budgeted movie, and then it didn't make that much money, but that guy immediately like he went from that to I think, hold on.
I
I
was gonna
want
say,
to I want to
go ahead.
say it was like that immediately that to Jurassic World, but I think he did some before because that's like no, Safety Not Guaranteed. That was 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jurassic World was 15. So yeah, he went
Oh,
from he went from that to that little movie to World,
that's
which
why
is insane.
I was gonna say it's really weird to gauge Hollywood in a sense because if you make a film that's really good, but it doesn't make its profit, you don't think that you're gonna get looked at. You don't think that anyone's gonna pick you up or your agent's not gonna have any leverage to try to, you know, pitch you to other people. But some people out there like how you shoot stuff, like how you direct stuff, look like how things look. They may not necessarily say, "Oh, this made all the money back. This made a lot more, so he's bankable." They might go like, "If we give him an IP that's already got credibility, and he just does what he did with that film, and it looks good and is directed well and all this, it's gonna make the money."
But that's crazy, man. Like your
Yeah,
debut film, less than 1 million in the budget, and your next film grosses over 1 billion. That's
yeah.
crazy. And then he was, and I hated Jurassic World. I did.
I didn't like the premise too much because I felt like when they went to because World was when they went to the States, right, and everything was unleashed, correct?
No, that was
That domination.
that was Lost World. Maybe it was Domination. No, that was the final one. World was a crappy knockoff of Park one, where it's like a new park. It's like the same movie but worse.
Is that when they
Like
had the rolling balls that they were in?
yeah,
Okay.
it was the
I,
same movie as Park but just worse.
yeah.
Um, and Park's one of my all-time favorites. So
Well,
that
Spielberg
was
is just there's people out there that's like were kind of born for filmmaking or even just storytelling in general. And Spielberg was one of those people. Lucas, another one. Scorsese, a lot of these guys have. It's so weird. Like you wish you could pick their brain and just have like a dinner with them and talk to them because they're like, how did you come up with this idea or how did you implement this idea? And it's like you find out a lot of these guys know each other. A lot of these guys grew up together. A lot of these people are like what we're doing as independents, where we're gathering resources from our friends and doing something. These guys just did it back in the 80s and 70s, where it's like where they made a film, you don't think it was gonna blow up, and it just goes wild. And next thing you know, they have knocks on their doors from Paramount, Warner Brothers, and all these other places. And now they're working directors, you know?
yeah. I didn't go film school, but recently I was at a used store, just like used stuff, and they had a Spielberg box set, and it's like 6 movies and 6 Blu-rays for $30, and it has a nice little book that comes with it.
Okay.
And that's what I'm doing. It's Duel, Sugarland Express, 1941, E.T., first two Jurassic Parks. Think that's
I
it,
have
but
no
damn, dude,
Jaws.
Oh, Jaws. Yeah, there's
Okay,
Jaws,
I'm
and
about to
that's
say you
it.
gotta have Jaws in there.
Well, no, dude, I was gonna say because that's my film school right there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really excited just to like watch all of them, and man, I love Spielberg. But yeah, then Colin, then this guy, um, he did Jurassic World, and then immediately he was picked up for Star Wars Episode 9,
Mm,
and then he made a movie, Book of Henry, that flopped. And then he got fired from Episode 9. But like that,
I
dude,
remember
that
that. Yeah.
trajectory would have been crazy. Like little movie, Jurassic World, and then,
Yeah.
freaking Star Wars.
Everything is such a. I wonder if he had representation, you know, because it's like who put him or who saw that film and who was like, you know what, let's reach out to this guy.
I think I read he met Spielberg or something. He met him at a function and then they
They
linked
hit it
up.
off, started talking.
Or
Okay.
maybe I'm thinking about that guy who played Han Solo in the Han Solo prequel.
Oh, I don't remember. You know what? I can't remember his name.
It was Aldrin. He had a
I haven't
German
seen him
name
after
there.
that. I haven't seen him after that.
He was in Oppenheimer.
Oh, okay.
I feel bad for him because, like, if you
Solo got.
remember, well, Solo was okay, but when I think Solo got delayed and Disney put out a press release like, um, we're reworking the film and Aldred or whatever his name is, we hired an acting coach. How
Yeah,
embarrassing
that
is
just
that
that
if,
yeah, that's like throwing your actor under the bus.
yeah, I remember reading that and being like, that's messed up because it's
Yeah,
like, bro, they're dumping the blame on him.
and
But
it's
I'm,
not.
but I haven't seen him in anything either.
But which is sad because it's like um Dylan O'Brien is one of my favorite actors in recent years, and he hasn't really hit a lot like out the park. The Maze Runner series was great. American Assassin. He was in Infinite for a little bit, but I want to see him in something like Kingsman with Edgerton.
Yeah.
Is it Edgerton, I believe?
I know who you're talking about, the
Yeah.
star.
And so because I feel like he can do something like that though. Because he has range. I like his delivery and stuff. Um, but you know, it's all hit and miss with what you want to go for, what your career, what you want to be known for, things like that. And then it's like your Hollywood or your image in Hollywood is also tainted by whatever you do outside. Like Jonathan Majors and his situation,
Yeah.
very much tragic, because you start getting not blackballed, but you start getting doors closed on you, for something that happened outside of the industry, but it's always about um I guess representation and appeal. Certain people don't want to be next to certain people if they have something going on. So you kind of, which is, it's kind of weird because everyone's like, you got to have a squeaky clean image, people to like you, people to have, to love you, or you just got to be in this industry for so long that you do something, people aren't going to care. Like Denzel, he got recently where he got into the face of that photographer, for his,
Yeah.
he kept touching him. He told him like, hey, don't touch, things like that. It's like, you're not gonna crap on Denzel Washington. Denzel is an icon. He's been here for so long. If he goes off on somebody, it's for a good reason. Like he humbles himself. He keeps himself well poised when he's talking. So if you ever see him out of character, something has had to have happened, And no one's gonna like, oh, I'm not gonna hire Denzel. He got in the paparazzi's face. They're gonna be like, okay, we don't like paparazzi either. So
And then you have a disaster like that Flash movie with the guy
then
who
with
was Barry Allen. I mean, that was a mess. That movie
Ezra
was so
Miller,
bad. Oh
and
God.
it's the thing. It's like when you bank on a person and they don't understand the severity of what they can do to a project just from their behavior outside. Like that's the thing too. Like you represent. It's almost like a job. Well, it is a job, but
Yeah.
almost like you work for a company and you go outside wearing the company T-shirt and you're doing a whole bunch of crazy things. People are gonna look at you like, oh, you work for so and so. I'm not gonna work with them, or I'm not gonna talk. I don't want to be a part of that. So it's like he didn't know like you're representing Warner Brothers. you're part of this big DCU EU like thing. You're acting out, and people. Warner Brothers was also Fantastic Beasts, which is another film he was part of. You know,
Yeah, that's right.
he was working with Warner Brothers, and he was doing all these crazy things that kind of made Warner go, "Look, man, we got this film in the can already. We got to put it out. We're not gonna shelf it. We got to put it out, and we don't want you to do no press run until this movie is out. Once the movie is out, we'll let you do some press, or if you talk to somebody, it's only about this film. Don't talk about nothing else, because they're trying to do damage control.
Yeah.
The press was not really liking Ezra at this time, and that's the things that me as a director and me as a writer and a filmmaker, I have to take into accountability. Was like anything I say or do can reflect heavily on my career. So it's almost like walking on eggshells around the industry. So you gotta know that you're being watched in a
Yeah.
sense. If that makes sense. You gotta know that people are gonna look and say stuff about you that could interfere with anything else going on.
Yeah, I get that. It's unfortunate. Yeah, you have to feel like, you're gonna do anything and like it's gonna surface in the future.
Exactly.
But I'm curious, how would you describe your auteur style?
Um, I'm very contrasty. I love shadows. Um, I don't really care for shooting too much daytime. I like shooting nighttime because nighttime for me allows for characters with shadows. Like I said, I love contrast. So it's like if I can put a character in some shadow with maybe a little Rembrandt or something, or nice eye light from a street lamp or something, just giving them a little bit of character, it goes a long way for me. So I don't know. It's weird to kind of try to call what my style is. Um, I love playing with deep colors. I'm not very high key of a person. Like I don't like shooting very bright and very sitcom-y. I don't like shooting like that. I like deep, rich colors and shadows. Like that's why I kind of fell in love with Zack Snyder's DCEU. All the colors were very like dark tone and very like it. If you were to watch it and think comic book, to me, it felt like a comic book movie. Like if I was looking at a comic book and the way the artists were drawing and coloring it and looking at his film, it feels very much like I'm living in the comic book world.
He definitely has an incredible eye for just like how do you frame a scene? Bless you. How do you frame a scene? Like my favorite book is Watchmen. I don't
Oh,
really,
Watchmen,
I don't
great.
really, yeah, I don't really care for the film just because I love the book so much. And
Visually, it was beautiful though.
yes, um, well, it's unfilmable. Like it was never meant to be a movie or anything.
Mhm.
Because have you read it?
I haven't read the book. No, I watched the show and the movie.
Well, the show is unconnected from the
Everything.
book.
Yeah.
I mean, the book just like definitely give it a read. I mean, you could
Okay.
get it for $10, but it's incredible, and it fully utilizes like just the framing in the comic book, um, where you see what Zach was cooking,
Hmm.
and you see like, all right, he's the best possible director
For this
for
project,
this,
yeah.
but it probably still wasn't. Probably should not have been made.
Hmm.
Because even the best parts, like how like Dr. Manhattan was like created.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that was like the best part of the movie, but only because that was the best part of the book.
Look, right.
And like that part of the book was the most incredible thing I probably ever read when I first read in high school. I mean, dude. But
I feel which is weird because like I said, Zach has a lot of hit and misses. Like his Rebel Moon to me didn't really garner what I thought he could have made with it. He was trying to obviously do his own space opera, like Star Wars and stuff like that. But I think his eye is you can tell it's weird, like to say, but you can tell a Zack Snyder film if you were to put it on without knowing what it was.
yeah,
Sucker Punch feels like Man of Steel or Justice League, and that feels like Army of the Dead, I think, or is that they're in Vegas? I think Army of the Dead, And then I
Yeah, I
feel
think so.
like Dawn of the Dead, like those they feel like, well, Dawn of the Dead is the only one that feels less comic booky, less like that style, because I think it was his early films, so he was still trying to develop himself, but it still had that dark richness to it. Um,
Oh, you're talking about Dawn of the Dead, the
Dawn of the
shopping
Dead,
mall. But then he
yeah,
made a movie.
it was
He
called
made another
Army
zombie movie,
Army of
right?
the Dead, I believe, or
Yeah.
Army, yeah, because he did Thieves, Army of Thieves was one of them. Then Army of the Dead, I think, was the one he did with Netflix. I
Dawn of
think
the Dead, some people hate it. That's a guilty pleasure of mine.
I
Also,
like it. Like,
because Ty Burrell's in it, and I
yeah.
love Modern Family, and like he's a villain, and I just cannot
Oh
take him
yeah, he's an
seriously.
ass throughout the whole thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I can't take him seriously. I just see like Phil.
Yeah, you you reminds me as a comedic actor. It's like, why are you being so serious?
Um, yeah. Well, in terms of like auteur style, like, um, do you have like any themes you really touch on a lot in your work? Like, any like moral or story or thematic elements or anything?
Um, I guess coming from my background I was a military police officer for 8 years in the army. So a lot of my themes are crime related or crime based in a sense, maybe not so much as a detective all the time, but a lot of hardship around crime, like people who deal with stuff like hitmen, army, marine, and mercenaries, some detective work, things like that. But I try to, I guess, moral wise, I try to always, well, at least what I can see, I'm doing in my past films now. I always try to see it end off with the good guy winning in a sense of that cliche where he goes to the cemetery and talks to a dead partner or a dead wife or someone. So like it ends on a note that reminded me of like that Lethal Weapon 4 movie where he's at the graveside at the end talking to his dead wife, and his current wife or his current fiance is about to have a baby, and Lee and Joe Pesci walks up to him and tells him about his frog and stuff like that. It's like, what are you trying to say, man? You're talking about a frog. What are you talking about? But he's like, I'm trying to tell you that you're my best friend. You're not like Froggy, but you're just different. So he's like, it's one of those like weird wholesome moments that you're breaking up with comedy, and so I try to have a little bit of that throughout my films, but a lot of it is geared towards just the dramatic of crime and stuff. Like even I'm doing a screening on the 22nd
Ooh.
for my film or my short film Across the Blue Line, but I'm doing another. It's pretty much a three-part. I have two other films that I'm doing before mine, so I'm doing like an event, like a almost like a showcase event for other filmmakers. Um, and this deals with sex trafficking. A former cop that's retired, his goddaughter pretty much gets kidnapped and is put into sex trafficking, and being on the side of the law enforcement for so long, he's doing the steps he needs to do to see what happens. Like he's filing a police report, he's putting up signs, he's doing everything he knows that he should do. But eventually he gets to the boiling point where no one's doing anything. And he's like, I was a cop for 20 something years, almost 30 years. Why isn't anybody doing anything? Because I would have done something. So he pretty much goes the vigilante route to get her back. So that's why the title of it is called Across the Blue Line, because he's stepping over that line into vigilantism.
Yeah.
You know,
Have you seen that new A24 movie, Warfare?
no, actually, I have it on my list to watch.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, but I heard that and like Act of Valor were the two like most accurate war films, but I haven't seen either.
Saving Private Ryan was pretty crazy, but again, that's Spielberg, man. Spielberg doesn't really miss. Um,
Yeah.
there's one thing, and it's weird. I haven't watched it, but it kind of gives me a little weird feeling every time I see it. But the Sicario sequel, Day of the Sonata, when they were in the beginning, the suicide bombers inside the shopping mall, whoever did the sound design, I was in the theater. Whoever did the sound design did their research, because when those explosions went off, it felt and sounded so realistic. I haven't watched it again since that, like since I saw it in theaters.
Wow.
It just feels too accurate. to a suicide bomber, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, somebody really did the research on sound design and stuff like that because it's just you felt it and you heard it. And it's like, whew.
My favorite war film is Apocalypse Now. So good.
Okay.
You seen that one?
Mm-hmm. That's Marlon Brando
Yeah, it's Colonel
going crazy.
Kurtz.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Platoon was
it's
good.
Martin Sheen, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Martin Sheen. Yep. That's the dad. Or yeah.
He was the main character.
Yeah.
Wait, you said he was good?
Platoon.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like Platoon, but I saw Apocalypse Now like in high school, and I
Hmm.
was like chasing that high again of seeing Now, because Now is just an epic.
Yeah.
Now is and it's like so long, but it's in such an insane movie that like it's never been replicated for me. Like that Ride of the Valkyrie scene when they're like
Yeah.
flying in the choppers and blowing shit up, God.
It's weird, like you said, that finding that same like goosebumps feeling almost when you
Yeah.
see that when you see a scene is very rare in today's because I don't think a lot of filmmakers set out to do these epic triumphant like scenes. Like we have a lot of like if you like Fast and Furious or things like that, we have a lot of like action films that have those moments where the score builds up, the tension's getting high, and the camera's looking at the actor dead in the eyes, and he just like does something, and the score takes over, and the audience is supposed to be like, "Oh my god, yes, yes, yes." But it just feels like we're along for the ride. I don't know. It doesn't give you that feeling anymore, you know?
There are two movies in recent memory that come to mind. Nothing from last year, though. I really, really did enjoy Nora, but I saw Oppenheimer 70 millimeter IMAX because Mall of
Mm,
Georgia IMAX was one of 12 in the world that like screened this, and that was amazing movie first of all, but that was so unbelievable
okay.
because it's this massive screen, and then they're shooting with film, but
Yeah.
I don't think they were ever really able to shoot in IMAX. They don't really shoot in like IMAX film, so that was gorgeous. Um, and recently they had Sinners, I think 70 millimeter IMAX, but
Yeah.
they did not have that at Mall of Georgia, unfortunately.
I
Um,
saw that in 4DX in 4DX centers. Because it had
Oppenheimer Sinners.
centers.
Oh, okay.
It because the 4DX allowed for a bigger screen, but it also gave a lot of the well, I like 4DX because now it's somewhat like a roller coaster when you're watching your movie, and some of them add to it. But the atmosphere that came with the center with centers in 4DX was pretty awesome. And same thing with Final Destination, which is amazing how that came back and had such a big impact. It was because the last one they did wasn't really. It felt like that it was on his last leg, you know. The film Final Destination felt, I think, five or whatever it was. I think fell off pretty hard.
What was that name of that movie?
Final Destination,
Found Destination.
Final Destination.
A Final Destination. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like it came back. I think it's been 13 years. I
Something
think.
like that. Yeah, I think like 14.
Yeah, and it did so well. Like it was surprising because I'm like, obviously it's a new generation now seeing this film, but now they're gonna go back and look at the other ones. But it's like I remember the last one, five, not being that good. And it takes is people to say, hey, let's step back for a little bit and let's revisit this thing later. And it was obviously I'll let you know, it was good. Like I saw it also in 4DX. The gore was good, the visual effects, the I would say intricacy in which people died was a little bit ramped up. And yeah, it did really well as a comeback. It did really well as a comeback.
Yeah, I need to see it. I feel like I get kind of anxious over it.
Mm.
But the original doesn't like scare me. Now, the even like the log thing in the sequel, that didn't like scare me. Sometimes
That
I think about that when I'm like driving behind one, but I'm not like, I gotta change lanes right now.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
no, I
It
will.
just makes you think though. It does make you go like, hmm.
Yeah. Now the teaser for this new one, where like a bartender like breaks some glass and like shards fall into the
Oh,
ice.
yeah, some of it
That
was like
that bugged me more than anything from any of the movies I had seen.
I would tell you when I was looking at that, I was like, that's a big shard, man. No one's gonna be drinking iced tea or whatever, and the shard of glass is gonna be sitting inside their bottle, and they're not gonna be like, wait a minute, because I don't know about you, but I sometimes I'll look down at what I'm drinking. I'm not just blindly taking sips without looking at it sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, and the fact that all the glass broke and the person didn't think to look inside the ice, it broke right next to the ice, and he just wiped it off the counter. And was like, I'm not gonna look in there. I'm not gonna see if there's any ice in there. Like,
Yeah,
like
I think well most people like on Twitter, people were freaking out, but they're also saying like, yeah, that's why we dump the ice out anytime we hear any glass shatter. And it's like
mm.
that's wild though, you know. But they're doing that wave, man. 2000s nostalgia's back, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
Lilo and Stitch, uh,
live action.
Revenge of the Sith, man. We got Final Destination, a new one. I
Mhm.
think I saw the new Wes Anderson movie, which I didn't really care for, but I think I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know if that's a remake
Yes, they're.
or a new
It,
one.
I was thinking that myself when I saw that because it's like a reboot sequel because it has original cast members and they're talking about the situation that happened to them, but it's as if it didn't happen with these new people. So I'm so confused on if it is a sequel or I mean it's a reboot, obviously, but it's so much of a shot for shot or a take for take reboot that it shouldn't be a reboot. Like they hit another guy driving down this highway next to some water, and they're like, that's exactly how it happened in the old days. So is this just a bad road for people to be driving on? Like what's going on? Like this is not a good road.
All right, I got a fun final question.
Yeah.
Just on this topic. What's like a fun series or like a fun series from like the 2000s that you'd want to bring back, or just like a fun movie from the 2000s you'd want to like remake or make a sequel of or whatever, you know?
From the 2000s. Mm, that's difficult because I like my favorite would have to probably be the late 90s because I was thinking I would love to see old Jim Carrey in like one more Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Like, what if we get an old Ace? You know, like he comes out of retirement for one last case. You know?
I love the fact that he only does Sonic anymore. Now Sonic
Yeah.
3 was tough, dude. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie. Did you see that?
yeah, I saw it. They
Dude,
went like, super with him and Shadow and in space. I was like, all right,
that was kind of hype.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Dude, when like Shadow does the Oculus slide off the side of a
Oh
building,
yeah, yeah.
that all right, tough. And
I
then
saw that.
like,
I was like, man, there it is. The Akira slide. There it is.
well, I think it was on the trailer, but it's just more badass. Like when you see the full thing and he's like sliding off the side of like the Tokyo Sky Tree or something, and
Hmm.
then like does that Goku like power
Yeah,
thing where
the Gas Emeralds super. Yeah.
yeah, or like when Live and Learn plays,
Hmm.
they become like Supersonics and Super Shadow. Dude, Live and
It's
Learn hits. Oh,
I'm just like I obviously they set it up for a fourth one when they brought in Amy was in the post credit scenes. I was like, all right, cool. But who's gonna be the villain? Like, I mean, is it still Robotnik or you're gonna introduce like who's our villain now? You know?
well, Metal Sonic, but I feel like this is the only movie Jim makes. He doesn't need to do this, but I
Oh
think
no.
he
That's
was
why I
in
said it. If
three
he
of
can do it,
these.
if he can do another Ace Man, I think it would be all right. I'm gonna say this: if he came back for Dumb and Dumber 2, you can do another Ace Ventura, man. You
Yeah.
if you came back from Dumb and Dumber, you could do another Ace Ventura, and it'd
I,
be lovely.
I think a spoof of like superhero movies and you do the mask because the mask is a comic book
Oh,
character. If you
that's
did
true.
if you did like a proper The Mask, but you made a spoof of like the MCU, I think that'd be really fun.
Hmm. Yeah, I think he doesn't want to revisit a lot of his old stuff, like Sandler. We got Happy Gilmore 2 coming out, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Sandler doesn't mind revisiting his property. You know, if he's just like, hey, the people want it, maybe he'll do a Big Daddy or Mr. Deeds too. You know, but if Happy Gilmore 2 does well, that's gonna make him think, well, should I dig into the vault and do something else? You know?
I think because I think what was it? I think Ace Ventura 2, he didn't have fun, so he didn't do a sequel until Dumb and Dumber 2. And then like
Mhm.
Sonic, he's just yeah, I'll be in like Sonic 7, I don't care. But he
Yeah.
wasn't doing that. Like it was until Dumb and Dumber 2. I guess well Sonic because people didn't really like Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah, it didn't do well.
For,
It didn't it felt those characters feel like they're definitely they're aged, you know? But
for
I feel
me,
like Ace wouldn't feel like they're like he's aged unless you if you play it like he's aged, you know? If you play it like he's been out he's been out of the game for 20 years, you know, and somebody's like, yo, I gotta find this missing rhinoceros or something, but I only there's only one person that can do it, but he's retired. Like, okay, cool, let's do that. You know, give Jim Carrey a lot more freedom, give him a lot more leeway to kind of make up stuff and ad lib or write the script himself or whatever he needs to do to make it to come to fruition. But I feel like that could be done way better than what they did with Dumb and Dumber 2 because Dumb and Dumber 2 really didn't have a premise.
yeah,
You know, it didn't.
I
It
never
felt like it was
saw
just
it.
friends coming together having fun to make a movie.
Um, for me, man, I gotta say, like, I really wish Mike Myers was back. Like, I
Ah,
love another Austin
Austin
Powers.
Powers.
I'd even love another Cat in the Hat because as a kid, that was like my favorite.
Well, aren't they
And
doing another Shrek?
they are
Did
doing
he
another
on that?
Shrek.
Yeah.
I think Mike still got it because he's on SNL sometimes.
Hmm.
He played Elon and he was fun. Like, I don't know how funny he was or more delighted that he was back.
I think
Yeah.
the Love Guru kind of hurt when that bombed. I think his last few didn't really do too well, so he kind of took a step back. I think produced a little bit more and just relaxed, enjoyed, and then. But you know what? Now that you say, it, I think we might get another Austin Powers because this generation didn't really experience Austin Powers. That was like you said, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Um, so I can see that happening. It's just would he be able to get away with a lot of the jokes and stuff?
It's that and like another American Pie would be really fun, I think. Like people just need to laugh again. And I love American Pie 1. I love all of them except for like that
Like
second one. I didn't
Bandcamp,
like 2. Was that
Bandcamp, and all the like
it?
little spinoffs.
Well, those spin-offs are kind of fun because they're terrible. But I
Hmm.
think like American Wedding is like kind of fun. American Reunion's kind of fun. I think you
I
could
would,
easily do something where like the old characters are parents now and they have like teens.
that could work. That could work.
That,
Yeah.
you know, that would work because it's been like 13 years since American Reunion.
Hmm. What about granted it had to find its way into the ethos, but Tropic Thunder too.
I was never a big Tropic Thunder fan, to be honest.
Really?
I didn't
Oh,
get it. Yeah, I don't know. It
it's
was,
so to me it's just like comedy gold in the sense of like pushing the envelope and just Ben Stiller is an underrated director and writer. I think he does phenomenal when he's allowed to just do what he wants to do, you know?
yeah.
Like Zoolander, Mystery Men, all those films that he's been a part of. Even I mean Dodgeball, he wasn't, you know, the main, but it's just like he's a comedic actor. He's a really good comedic actor, and I think if they were to do another Tropic Thunder, it'd be different because obviously you can't do everything you did back then now, but you'd have to work around it or just say whatever. I'm just gonna do and push the buttons, you know, and see how people react to it. Because
That's
sometimes you gotta be unapologetic.
That's the feature I'm writing now is a throwback to like Apatow comedies, like
Mm.
40-Year-Old Virgin, because we just need stuff like that again. Or
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm saying.
like kind of a blend between Rogan, it's Seth Rogen and then it's like his buddy Evan Weinstein, I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, some blend or just a mishmash of that.
That's
Apatow.
Steph's
the
kind of chilled
Rogan.
down too, though, man. Steph's
Lit-
kind of chilled a little bit. Like Sausage Party, I think was the last big like crazy film he did. Like his new show, The Studio, isn't like super offensive and funny. Like it's funny, but it's not like it doesn't remind me of like you said, like older Seth, like old school Seth Rogen, where Pineapple Express and Sausage Party and things like that. It just I
I'm
don't know.
not
Maybe because he's getting older.
I'm not going for offensive, more so like I'm going for like those movies were awesome because they were just like dudes hanging out, and they're funny. Like Knocked Up, awesome.
Jack and Mary.
For yeah, oh God, dude, I love Zach and Mary.
Yeah.
Um, but even that's more like goofy Kevin Smith. Although I
I
love
love
Clerks.
Yeah.
Every comedy I do is just it ends up
Dance
just
on
being
Bob,
like
man.
yeah, it ends up just being Dante and Randall, like, but my take on it,
Hmm.
like the characters just read like Dante and Randall and Jay and Silent Bob, dude. I love all that. I
They
saw
could have got a
Kevin.
show. They definitely could have got a show.
There was a Clerks show. Did you
No,
know
not the
that?
animated. Not the animated, like the because I saw the animated Clerk
Yeah.
show, but I'm talking about like a live action with Dante and Randall.
That show rocks, man. I love Clerks animated.
Yeah, it was so bad that Kevin couldn't put it on a like Comedy Central or somebody kind of gave him a little bit more freedom. It was on
Yeah.
like CBS or NBC or something, and they had to censor a lot of stuff and a lot of even the weed references and things like that. They couldn't really do. So I was like, man, if he had the option to do that for like HBO or something, it'd be insane.
Kevin came to Atlanta last year. Did you see him? Did you know he was there?
I went to a screening of the reboot. I forget when that was.
Ew. That was 2019 around like
Yeah.
November.
Yeah, it was like he had came to Atlanta for that. That's the only time I
Oh.
seen him. Yeah. He did a screening in the city.
Did he like talk at all after? Did he do like
Yeah, he did a
Q&A?
little Q&A and stuff like
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember that movie came to Tallahassee when I was in school, and I think it was like the day before a test. If I failed the test, I'd fail the class.
Oh
So it's
boy.
like, do I want to risk it? And I chose the nerd route and I just like studied. But then during the pandemic, I saw it and like, dude, that movie is so
I love it because
uh,
it's a callback, you know? It's such a
yeah.
big callback. And I'm from Jersey. I'm from South Jersey.
Nice.
And
Nice.
so Kevin Smith is a little close to home. He's from Red Bank. So it's like that's one, like I said, that's one of the people I also admire because coming from New Jersey and being able to just like build your own empire of what you do with your friends. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you just have one person that has a dream and a vision who's like willing to go ahead and put all his credit cards in deficit and just max out everything just to get a vision made. And that's what he did with Clerks One. He's like he maxed out his credit card and did a whole bunch of stuff just to get that thing shot.
Oh yeah, dude, I love Clerks. Like Clerks 1 is in my top 5 and
Mhm.
I like some of his stuff, but he fell off. I
Yeah,
hate to
I'm
admit it.
mad. I'm mad that Kevin doesn't get a lot of the recognition and the opportunities. Because have you seen Red State?
No, I think
Red State
the
was good, man. Like for if you didn't, you wouldn't know it's a Kevin Smith film. It's good, but like because he
but
did
he's
Cop Out and all that other stuff. But I'm like, Red State was great.
but he's got such a good voice. Like I don't, I like he tried the horror thing. I don't want to watch Tusk or
Oh yeah, Tusk was weird to me. Yeah.
Yoga Hosers or Cop Out. Like I think I watched um Zack and Mary and then
Mhm.
Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and I just thought it was unfunny. Like I like Jay and Silent Bob 1. I just that the I didn't like the reboot, but Clerks 3 was fine. I did see
Mhm.
that.
I
But
just like I said, it's a hit and miss with Kevin, but
yeah.
he definitely knows what he wants to do, and I admire that he gets it done. You know,
Yeah. No, I think he deserves all the recognition. I mean, Clerks, I think in 2019 was put in the Library of Congress,
nice.
in their film registry. Super well deserved, man. Clerks, like I said, my top 5. And I saw him live last year.
Okay.
And I had to tap out around the 3 hour mark because
Yeah,
there's
he likes to
no
talk.
sign. Dude, that guy's a yapper.
He likes to talk. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, like some guy walked up and like the guy's question was like, "Hi, my name's Steve." And like Kevin would go on a 20-minute tangent. I'm like, "Oh, I know a Steve, my
Steve,
favorite
yeah,
Steve." And it's like, and then he cut himself off. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, that was 20 minutes. Oh, what was your question?"
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. What were you asking?
A terrific speaker, man. You can
Yes.
tell like he does really love his fans.
Oh,
Um,
he's got stories, man. Did you hear when he talked about the whole Prince documentary thing?
yes, I was there for that.
Man, it's like we'll never get to see it. Never.
Where did you like hear him talk about
Well,
that?
I watched it. I forget where he was. He was talking to a school, I believe. I saw it on YouTube.
Huh.
Because no one asked him about it at the screening that we saw. They were just asking about his upcoming, like Moose Jaws, and if he was going to do another Jan Silent Bob or even Dogma 2, things like that. But I remember when he talked about the Prince situation, and I was like, man, that's insane. That Prince is a fan of you because obviously Clerks, he likes Clerks and Jan Silent Bob, but that you shot this whole thing and we'll never get a chance to see it.
Be honest with you, I can't remember a lot of what he said. I know he gave a story like Prince dunked on him. Like Prince was a little strange, I think he was saying,
Well, he
but
said, yeah, Prince used to show up a little late, he said, and he wouldn't really give him any idea of what he was shooting in a sense. He would just like
yeah.
roll the camera and just capture whatever I'm doing, you know?
But when I say he dunked on him, I'm literally mean like he was kind of aloof. He's like, I don't really care what you film. I don't,
Yeah,
care that much.
he didn't give him any.
But he got footage of him like playing basketball, and that was the only thing he ever locked into. And he was like dunking over Kevin, like with the
Mhm.
basketball. I
Okay.
think there was something like that that was kind of funny, but he talked about that for like a half hour.
Oh,
I
that's what I
didn't
said. Like
know.
he's got stories, man. If you could sit down with him, he's got stories.
Yeah, well, he talked a lot about George Carlin, his friendship with him.
Carlton's
He talked a
amazing.
lot about Jersey Girl,
Hmm.
which I'm seeing that movie.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, talked a lot about I think he was living at Ben's house for a while just
It's okay.
cause.
He said he was, that's why I give respect to Kevin. He's like him. Ben wanted to be a lead man. He wanted to be a lead actor.
Yeah.
But people kept seeing him as a villain. No one was casting him in these roles that he thinks he could play. And Kevin was like, "All right, well, let's do it. I'll put you in a role. I don't care." And that's the type of friendship and that's the type of like risk you have to take. Some of the actors like, "I want to try this, man." Okay, cool, let's do it. I'll write it, we'll shoot it, and see what happens. You know,
Yeah.
Chasing Amy, Jersey Girls, Dogma, like three back-to-back Ben Affleck films with Matt Damon. Well, not obviously Batman was in the other ones, but Dogma. But then it's like you establish a friendship where like now you're doing Clerks or you're doing a Jen Silent reboot, and Ben Affleck was Batman, and now he's in your movie just hanging out, shooting the shit, and putting little puns to his previous films.
Y-
Like
y-
that was hilarious.
Yeah, and Matt was in that too. He was reprising his role from
Yeah, as
Dogma.
Loki.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
Loki.
like, "Hey, hey everyone, it's Loki, but not
Yeah,
the
not that Loki.
yeah, not that Loki." Yeah.
He
Um
said the original Loki. He said the original because he did come out before the MCU's version.
I think I'll end the podcast in the story, but I was at a garage sale like 2 years ago, and they had a lot of cool things there. They had like the Dick Tracy movie, I think,
Oh
which is
wow.
awesome. Yeah, and they had deep cuts, man. They had Sin City on Blu-ray.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Reading
Most of the
this.
time, you just see slop at garage sales. You see,
Yeah,
like, I'm not.
VHSs.
Well, it's like movies. Like, do I want Green Lantern for a buck? Like, nah, not really.
No. Yeah.
They had like classic films. They had like Howard the Duck, and
Oh wow.
that was still in the plastic. And then they had this movie. I'd seen it because it was on YouTube. Because you just couldn't really see it anywhere else. It was on streaming, but it was a Blu-ray edition of Dogma.
Oh wow.
still in the plastic. And it was
Ooh,
like $2. And I told my buddy, and he was like, look up Google Shopping right now. And that used to go, not anymore, but that used to go for like 200 bucks.
really?
Yeah, because it's out of print. But now that's why
It's back.
Dogma's back in theaters now. Yeah.
Yeah, because he Kevin got the rights back.
Yeah, and he didn't have the rights and he didn't want to like re-release it, but now it is. It's still in the plastic. I never took it out. It's just like this cool thing I still have.
Certain things
Yeah.
like I buy DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that for things I kind of want to hold on to because I stream.
Yeah.
We have streaming, but it's like uh, the Lethal Weapon collection, Scarface, things of that nature. It's like you want to actually hold a physical copy of it, you know?
Well, like I think I always had like a little collection, but it really started because like I can't keep track of everything. Like I really want to see Good Will Hunting one day, and it wasn't on anywhere. So
Mm,
that got kicked off the collection, and I just have like a ton. Because
nice.
like that's what sucks is when you want to see something and you could have sworn it was on Netflix a month ago. It's now it's gone.
Not anymore. Yeah, I was gonna say that's why physical media is still such a big thing to have, man. Because on streaming service, they might lose the rights to something, and you may never see it again.
Yeah.
And it's terrible because if you do a film and say you have it with Paramount, and so that's on Paramount Plus, cool, great, and they decide even though we own this, we're not going to keep it on the streaming service. Like, why? You guys own the rights to it. Why not? Oh, it's not doing that well in the attraction, so we're gonna take it off. We're like, so where are people going to see my film? You
That's why
know?
Tubi is a goat. They have Dominic Goodie films on
Yeah.
there. Tubi's tough.
Yes. That was it.
Love
Like,
Tubi.
my films, Tubi, Amazon Prime right now, I love Amazon Prime for giving the opportunities to independent filmmakers because it's not hard to get on Amazon right now. People think it's very difficult. You just got to submit and go through their QC process. Once you get through the QC process, they'll let you know if you made it, you know?
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's closing time for the Rock Shop. Dominic, thank you so much for coming on. Where can the audience find you?
I appreciate you for having me, Ryan. Social media, pretty much just put in Dominic Goodie on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Pure Luxury Films. Um, right now, my film Witness is on Amazon Prime. I'm doing a screening at the Terra Theater June 22nd,
Nice.
doing a showcase with 3 short films. 2 of them I've directed. One of them is a friend that we found did another short film that he wanted to showcase as well. Trying to make it a yearly event where we showcase films from local filmmakers. So we'll see how this one goes. But yeah, just type in my name anywhere on Google. You just find my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook, things like that. So again, appreciate you having me, and I hope to do this again.
And until next time, see ya.